Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. So welcome everyone to the community meeting. So today we'll talk about some of the work that we did for the P2P integration, which is allowing Harbor to work with P2P providers. You might have heard of some of the more popular ones right now, like Uber, Kraken, and Alibaba Dragonfly. So this is part of the release for 2.1. But before we do that, I just want to some quick announcements. So we have a couple of events coming up. So I think most people know that Harbor has 2 sessions in the KubeCon Europe, starting on the 18th of August. But before then, we actually have there's another event called the Cloud Native Open Source Virtual Summit China 2020, which is also hosted by Linux Foundation or CNCF. And we have 3 presentations here. Harbor Graduation Project Update by Henry. He's the founder of Harbor. And we have a deep dive talking about, some of the main features in the 2.0 release, as well as some of the upcoming features in the 2.1. And then there's another one by Henry, and Pei Miming is one of the maintainers of the Harbor project from NetEase. So they're unfortunately, I think for this audience today, they're unfortunately in Chinese and for a China-friendly time zone. So, but if you want to check them out, please do. And then we have 2 talks coming up for KubeCon Europe. There's a Harbor intro as well as a Harbor deep dive. So mostly focused on Harbor 2.0 and Harbor 2.1. Okay, so yeah, I got kind of a late notice to host this, so I don't have an environment up. This is a private. So we did a demo of P2P, the work that we did for P2P, but it's a private build. So I figured, if everyone's okay with it, I'll just play the recording from this morning, which, one of our engineers did a fantastic job of explaining what we were trying to achieve and what the end result looks like. But essentially, the work is that within Harbor, you'll have the ability to perform an action called preheat, which essentially migrates or offloads that image to the P2P distribution side, where the image is prepped to be distributed via their P2P distribution mechanism, which is much better, much more efficient for scale out, distributing to multiple hundreds or thousands of nodes. And then we have a sort of security policies within Harbor to control how and when to preheat those images. So it's a demo.
Before we do the live demo, I'd like to use one slide to describe what's the core idea of the P2P preheat. Actually, the core idea of the P2P preheat feature in Harbor is very simple. I think the main idea can be described using diagram shown here. At the Harbor side, we will support a preheat policy, and this policy will behave as an automation pipeline. That means in this policy you can create some filter or criteria to define which artifacts are qualified to trigger to do the preheat operation. So far, there are 5 criteria. First, you can use a repository pattern to define, which repository. At the repository level, you can narrow down the repository list, and then after that, you can also use a tag pattern to narrow down the tag list. After that, you can also to specify if we only want to preheat the send image, and we also support the vulnerability. That means you can decide only only the artifacts without some specified severity vulnerabilities, then they can be preheated. Also, you can specify the labels. So after you create these clauses, specify the related criteria, then you can also define how to trigger this pipeline. With supporting manually, you can directly click to execute the policy. You can also set a schedule to periodically trigger the policy, and you can also set it as an event based, because event based here we for event based that means we'll watch the on push scan complete, and on label 3 events. Each event will try to evaluate if the targeting artifact match the related policy, that policy can be started. Okay. Yeah. After the policy, the output is if we have some artifacts to preheat, we'll send the preheat request through API to the supported P2P provider, and the P2P engines like Kraken or Dragonfly will check if the artifact has already their cache. If not, they will start issue a pull request to the harbor and put the content into its cache. So when the client started to pull the image from those P2P provider, I think it can directly start it, because all the data pieces of the pulling content had been in the cache. If we want to have such a preheat, the first copy needed to connect to the upstream bridge and pull into its cache, so that maybe consume some time delay. So I think this is use this feature, you can plan your deployment. That means you can use this automation pipeline of use the preheat policy to specify when qualified artifacts can be put into the cache in advance. So, because this deployment can be planned to reduce the first time pulling delay. So that's the main idea of the preheat feature. So let's start the lab demo. Here I have Harbor, and after you log in as a system admin, you can see there is a distribution section under the administration. So as a system admin, you can navigate to this distribution to add a supported P2P AD instance in Harbor for next connection. Okay. Here use work project and target first you can click the new instance to add a P2P AD instance. So so far we support two providers. One is the Dragonfly, another is Kraken. I have a Kraken deployed on the NetEase cloud. So it's stable just test detection. Yeah, it's okay. If you access it wrong. policy, preheat policy, to define which artifact you want to preheat. And let's see what we have now. We have here use EX. Sorry, so we have several artifacts. Some image, and they have instead. Let's back to preheat. First, let's create the policy. You can see here you can, as a project, you have permissions to create a preheat policy, and you can see all the available P2P entity instance. So here we select our project. We call it I create several policies. First, let's create a schedule plan, and like she only use EX3 and use the 1.19 tags are narrowed down the scope to such artifacts. And you can see you can also create enable some criteria for example, signature, security, and labels. For the schedule, we only use the filters.
So quick question, Stephen, when you check only signed images, so signed images are replicated, can the signature still enforce and replicated or preheated to be provided or not?
Yeah, if you checked this box, that it only send the image can be preheated. That means your artifact should be send them, then they can be preheated.
I know, but there's
Hey, Alex, can you increase the volume a bit? It's a little hard to hear.
Okay, sure.
like we know that when you replicate an
Better?
image from one harbor to the other,
Yeah,
the
thank you.
signature is not maintained.
Alright.
Yeah.
In this case,
Just
will the signature be maintained?
no, this criteria just used to determine, the preheated, the target to preheat artifacts. So the signature cannot be, maintained at the P2P side.
It's the same thing as when you replicate to a different registry, right? Signature is lost. Yeah. Okay, got it. So the signature is lost, but this is just a way to say,
Because
it's a way to say if your image is not signed, don't replicate it, but nothing else. Got it.
yeah, it's just a condition. Yes, it's just a condition.
It's a condition check, not anything else. Thank you.
Okay, let's first create a schedule preheat policy, and we can use customize.
Can you
3 minutes.
can you also look at this the trigger? Click on the drop down, and we like to see what options are there. Or it's manual. So if you click event based, is that push and push?
No, for event based, you don't need to specify. You don't need to specify the concrete events. We will check the on push, on complete, and on label for events. We will automatically to evaluate
If it needs to be updated.
Yeah.
We should actually.
This can be better worded.
We should put a little question mark there to actually add with the documentation what that means, Alex.
After you create the event base, there will be information. I'll show the demo later. Okay.
No.
So first,
I'm just saying in the UI we should have information there what event base means. So
we have the information in the list, not in the wizard, not in the creation wizard.
Well, I mean, even here it's not when I'm setting it up for the first time, it's not clear, right? Like to me, the first time user, I don't really know what event base means. Add something.
Okay. So let's first create a scheduled policy. Let's identify it's UTC time. I think that's 3 minutes later. Okay. So let's create a schedule policy. Let's specify device. 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 Let's create a schedule policy. Let's specify de 1 minute, right? So 3 minutes. It's UTC time. So let's okay. This will check the depth and when the 19 text and it's scheduled. You can see the time. It's UTC time. I think it's 3 minutes later. It should be triggered. Okay, first let's create another one, like a menu. Also use maybe we can use anyone. Okay. I'll create a manual policy to do the demo. Let's say for manual, you can actually for any type of the policy, you can figure the attributes besides their native trigger. That means any policy can be manually triggered, not just a manual one. Let's see what will happen. Okay, there will be a execution created. Now it's running, and you can click to see the details. So now the only one artifact match is the 1.18, and it's the digest. Let's see the is connection somehow. So let's retry. Okay, this time it's a success. Actually, let's check what will happen at the background. You can go to the access log. You can see there is a Kraken name to pull the use this digest to pull the resource. That means Kraken has got the request and it has issued the pull request. Yes. Okay. And let's back to see more policy. Okay, if now we can add more criteria, for example, only set and let's add one by one. That may be more clear. This time we add only set image. Let's see what happens. And it should be preheat anything. You can see it's completed very quickly because no artifacts will preheat because the 1.11 is not it's not the same image. Let's see which one is. All the artifacts, only the 1.2. Okay, this one. Only the 1.14 is sent. So let's see. Let's check it to 114 and keep the signature right here. You can see it running. I think the 114 is matched, so it's preheat. Okay, so let's back to let's see what you can see the schedule has been issued. Okay, I just create a schedule policy after the 3 minutes. Now it had been issued. Check success. Say we preheat the two artifacts. All the information you can find here. There will real pull happen. Okay, so let's back to the preheat menu side. Okay, let's add vulnerability severity. Let's use a very low level. That means no vulnerability severity or low and above. Can be preheated. Let's keep it. I think at this texture condition, there will be nothing. Say it's very quick because all the NGX artifact has high severity vulnerability. So if you use a low, there will be nothing to preheat. Let's adjust the policy to, for example, critical, because critical the artifacts have severity high, but you send critical up can be preheated. So the NGX artifacts can be preheated. Let's see what have it. Okay, let's say it's matched data 1.14 is matched and trigger preheat. I need to clarify here. If the artifact has been in the cache, even we send the preheat request to the P2PNG, they will directly, retain. Okay, the retain success because the artifact you required to be cached had already been there. So if what I mean if the artifact is repeatedly preheated, okay, here we will create the task, but actually from the P2P provider side, they will not issue duplicate full request. So this is, because the artifact had already been there. Okay, we have another one is label. Okay, so if we add a label approved, I think this time if we trigger it, there will be nothing to be preheated because no, let's say 32 executed no artifacts to preheat because no artifacts with the label. Let's add a label to this one. We add approved label to the artifacts 114. Back to the preheat policy. Okay, this time match. See, already match or preheat happened. So now we have.
So I just want to pause for a second and see if anyone has any questions so far. Okay.
5. All of the criteria are, added. So that's this is all the condition we used. This is the manual trigger way. I think we show the schedule manual. Let's say I'll create a policy specific for the event based. This time I still use GX and maybe I can create expand the scope all the 1.1 text and let me see what we should be critical. Because only critical can be real trigger and enable all the criteria. So for this policy, only the NGX and with the 1.1, 1.4, 1.11, 1.8 is all okay, and but the should be sent and no vulnerability severity or critical and above, and also the label approved. matching this policy, there will be only one artifact in the demo candidates. In the demo later, we have so many, but only one have the 5 condition. This one, not 4, but let's see what first. Remove first. Now we have an event-based, right? That means when the push happen or the scan complete events coming or label unlabel event happen, the policy will be automatically evaluated. If there is artifacts match that policy, the artifact will be preheated. Let's see what happens after we add a label to the 1.2. Let's use non-matched artifacts to show the failing scenario first. If you add a label to this one, let's back to the preheat and see what happens. I think nothing will be hidden. Nothing happened. So let's back to the I think this one will match that label. Okay. 1.14 had approved the label and has no vulnerability, with the severity critical and it's NDX and yeah, and also it's a send. Okay, so let's back to the create policy, see what will happen. This one. Okay. Let me check what.
So that's really the essence of it. Is that I didn't want to finish playing this clip because we started getting to a discussion about, essentially, you saw how Stephen was creating preheating policies, but we also have project policies. And project policies has the same sort of security policies around image pulling based on signature, based on scanning for vulnerabilities and things like that. So we got into a discussion about the merits of, allowing the project settings to override the preheating policies versus why not just directly leverage the project settings. So that's still an ongoing discussion, but I think there are benefits to be able to configure those policies at the preheating policy level, to have that sort of granularity at the P2P provider level, because what works for one P2P provider may not work for another. That was really our initial concern here. But yeah, I just want to see if there are any questions around how this works, how to create policies, how to trigger policies, things like that. Jonas, you've heard it twice now.
I got no questions.
So we plan on delivering this. Huge thanks to the external maintainers. We had one of our maintainers from NetEase. We also had people from the Alibaba Dragonfly project and someone from the Uber Kraken project, sort of advising us on some of these steps. So huge thanks to all those guys. And we plan on delivering this as part of the 2.1 release, which is slated for August 21st. So that's all I had to share for this meeting. If I'll share the link to this video in the community meeting notes. So if you want to watch the whole thing. And then, yeah, we'll probably have some follow-up discussions around the P2P preheating policy versus project settings. So if anyone's interested, you can follow us I'll post those links in the community meeting notes as well.
Sounds good. I also posted links to the presentations that you talked earlier about. I posted links to them on Twitter and on Slack, both in the
Awesome.
Harvard Dev channel. So
Thank you.
if you want to join in and listen, please do so.
All right. If there are no more questions, we can end here. Thanks everyone for attending.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.